Hey guys, it's Marcus here with another 5-minute video marketing lesson. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the DEP, or deflation or deflated ego profits. And this is something that a lot of us struggle with when it comes to getting to the next level in business or in life. So if you're struggling with getting to that next level, making the next bit, or making the first dollar online, or whatever it is, pay close attention. And what I want to do today is talk to you about this king. And there was once this king, and he lived in a town. And the king was very high and very mighty, and he constantly looked over the town. These were his loyal subjects. And his job was to get all the people in the town to either like him or submit to him and basically envy him and look up to him. Now, the secret that this king had was that he had a very, very fragile ego. Over time, as he looked at the town, if one person said a bad thing about him, he got in an uproar, basically got defensive, saying, "Don't you know who I am? I am the king. This is who I am. You must obey." And now a lot of times this happens in business. You see, we have this little king inside of our head that says, "I am King Midas. You must do what I say. Things must go the way I want. And if they don't, I am going to pout and throw a fit." And this happens no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are. And what happens is it seems like there's all these big forces out there saying, "Hey, look, little guy, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to learn." And that king rears his ugly head and says, "Yeah, but don't you know who I am? Don't you know that I deserve better? Don't you know that I used to be, or I was, or I am?" And this ego gets in the way of being able to make money. You see, there's a principle in business and in internet copywriting and regular copywriting. And it was by the late Gary Halbert. And he basically said to weed or sell the foxes and weed the dogs. That means go after the person you're looking for and don't worry about offending a few people on the way. Because we live in a big world and sometimes people are going to get offended. I mean, think of how many times you might have posted something on Facebook and you didn't get that big thumbs up right away and you said, "Does that mean people don't like me? Maybe I should take that down. Maybe I said that wrong." And you're constantly looking for this approval. Very, very important. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about selling the foxes and weeding the dogs. Basically, what I want you to do is I want you to start looking at who you can sell. Look at your perfect person that you can sell and forget about making the little dogs cry. Because if you keep running after the dogs who don't want your product, you are going to be a sufferer of deflated ego profits. That means you're not going to make any money because, number one, you're going after the wrong person, and number two, you're begging them saying, "Like me, like me, like me." Much in the same way when people get the Google slap, or Google doesn't like their ad, or Facebook doesn't approve their ad. They get this deflated ego and they say, "Well, they should like it." Instead of saying, "You know what? Forget about Google. There's plenty of traffic over at MSN. There's plenty of other ways to do things." And instead of looking at marketing as a test, what happens is these people get depressed and they say, "Man, nothing seems to be working." And we look at the world in this very, very, very small way, as if what we see right now is what happens everywhere. As if this little glimpse saying, "Well, Google doesn't like me," and making that mean, "Well, I guess internet marketing doesn't work and no one likes me." And what happens is you need to take that ego that says, "I can, I will, I must," and put it aside for a minute and say, this life is all about testing. It's about getting the results that we want. And I don't have to be the king. I don't need to get the gold star. All I want is the results I want. And I'm willing to do what I need to do to test them. If I go on a sales meeting and I don't get that sale, it doesn't mean I'm terrible. It might mean I need to improve my sales skills. It might mean that I need to do better. But it doesn't mean anything about me as a person. The minute I make it mean something about me as a person is the minute my deflated ego affects my bank account. Much in the same way where people come to me and say, "Marcus, I'm going to put you on trial. Do you really know what I need to do to make money online? Do you really have what I need, and can you teach it in a way that's gonna help me? Right? What happens is you know that I have the goods to teach. You know that the stuff works. You've seen my YouTube account. You've seen my channels. You've seen all these videos, and you've seen things work. But what happens is you don't want to take another blow. Right? You don't want to go out there and get hit with something and say, well, what if I can't make it work? What if it doesn't work? Well, instead of saying, what if it doesn't work, and giving up before the fight even begins, what if you just said, I'm going to go, and instead of walking out of that meeting room and being depressed and worrying, instead of getting into the game of, that guru didn't teach me enough, therefore I'm giving up on everything, or getting in a fight with someone and saying, hey, what about this? What about that? Or getting mad that you offended a few dogs. What I want you to do is I want you to change things up, and I want you to be happy, and I want you to look at results. Look at the world in terms of results. If Google doesn't approve my ad, why? If my site doesn't rank right away, why? If people aren't buying, why? It does not mean that people are reaching through the computer and hitting you on the head saying you are a terrible person. And this is why people are afraid to make money online. Because they are afraid of that one comment, myself included. I go on YouTube and some guy says, you look like an ugly mother lover. And I say, man, that hurts my feelings. That's me looking at the king hat again, right? And my profits go down, 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 because my ego is in the way. And who cares if I get a gold star from that guy in Timbuktu who recently thought I was terrible, but now thinks I'm good, right? Sell the foxes and weed the dogs. Get the people that can benefit most from what you have to offer. Do a good job, know you're doing a good job, and forget about those little whiny dogs because they're not going to do anything anyway. If you worry about all the dogs in the world that are crying and worrying about their own stuff, you're never going to get anywhere. So let's look at the world in terms of results and break the chains of a deflated ego and say this world, this internet marketing thing, has nothing to do with me. If Google doesn't rank that, that doesn't mean Marcus is terrible. If the guy doesn't buy it, that doesn't mean Marcus is terrible. It simply means that I need to learn to be better, do better, get up off my ass, and go make a living. Again, we're here not to give meaning to things that don't have meaning. It doesn't mean anything if Google says no. It doesn't mean anything if your prospect says no. Simply shut the door and move on. I hope that this 7 or actually 8-minute marketing video now has helped you in understanding how much your ego has to play. And guys, if you let it, it will freeze you. It will stop you from doing the things that you want to do most. Now, it's not like you have to try to stop it. You just have to start doing different things. And I'd like to challenge you to take one of my courses. They're affordable for anyone. We have courses that give you the whole shebang. We have courses for people on a budget. We're here to help you. And I'd like you to say to that ego that says, oh, well, what if it doesn't work? What if Marcus doesn't just give me a box of money? What if I don't? What if? And say, you know what? I'm going to break the chains of that ego and say, I am going to do it. Because it's not a matter of if it will or if it won't. It's a matter of, are you going to knock enough doors to get the sale? Are you going to go and do the things to get traffic? Are you going to provide the value? Are you going to be there in the marketplace to make the money? And I know we're running towards 10 minutes, but this is a special video that's going to show you how to break the chains and get the money. So let's focus on those foxes. Focus on the people who want to hear what you have to say. Focus on the people who will benefit from your product. And forget about those people, you know, the ones I'm talking about in your family that say, you can't, you won't. Is that right? Can you do that? Is that really what you want to do? Are you sure you're not a scam? Believe me, even at my level, people still say that. And you know what I say to them? I say, forget about it. I don't say, do you know who I am? Do you know what I've made? Because it simply doesn't matter. It simply does not matter what other people think. So if you're getting beat up too much by other people's thoughts, get the hell out of the ring and go into a ring where you don't get beat up. Form a world that you want to live in. Form a world where you can make profits. I hope you've enjoyed this. Go to affiliatemarketingdude.com. We're going to have some more follow-up about this concept Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. AffiliateMarketingDude.com. Let's crush the wounded ego profit destroyer and get to making money. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.